does it feel, seeing you guys go out there and just kind of show their talents and skills to NFL scouts?
It's great to see their hard work pay off, to get an opportunity to showcase their talents, to make a case for why they should have an opportunity to play at the next level, whether that's the NFL, the CFL, or the UFL, and it allows them to empty their clip, so to speak. I think they've all came back looking really well. They all went on their own separate ways, found trainers, they got in shape. I could see their focus, they were locked in, and they came prepared. And that's all you can really do and ask for. So the fact that I was talking to a few scouts about a couple guys is promising.
How much different is it in 2026 compared to when you were getting ready? I mean, I'm sure the media and stuff, it's way different than it was when you were coming through.
Well, actually, it was, for me, it was a packed house in terms of, because we had some guys at Ohio State, and our pro day was about the same drills, same stuff, 3-cone drills, 10-yard shuttle, 40-yard dash, vertical, bench 225, and you have that opportunity to showcase what you can do, and really. Your tape speaks for itself. You have a body of work that scouts kind of know what they want to see and verify certain things, how you move, how you interact, how you go from drill to drill, how you transition. So, you look at all those things and you check the box. This is just another way to evaluate a player before making an investment in them.
Did you have any sage advice for those guys on how to handle the pro day?
To come in ready, to come in shape, come in lighter than you should be. That's always my advice. You can always gain the weight back on, but you want to show how agile you are, how explosive you are, and that you're in good shape to play at the next level.
Any sort of numbers or anything stand out to you? Vertical 40 times.
Oh man, I thought Finn Hogan did a phenomenal job today, all the way around. He jumped out the gym. I think it was a 39.5, a 10-foot broad jump. Ran really well at 233 pounds. Ran a 4.5 at that height, that weight. So he really did some justice. Tunde had a great day at his size. Came in leaner, moved really well in his drills. Had a really good showing in his 40-time vertical jump. Was out the gym, and the fact that he's played all 5 positions on the offensive line throughout his career here at Bowling Green State speaks volumes. So when you're looking at a guy like that, he has a strong chance to make a roster, because you're always looking for guys that have versatility, flexibility, and the ability to be explosive and help out in special teams too. So D'Lo looked really good too. I mean, considering the struggles last year, because that was due to change the system and not quite understand. So we didn't have the year production-wise that we were hoping for, but athletically speaking, off the charts. Payshawn, I think everybody did a really good job of getting ready for this pro day.
Yeah, how much difference can that make, having a good pro day if you have a really good vertical,
Oh yeah,
really good 40 time?
It gets the attention for sure. But again, you got to turn on the tape and see if they can play ball. And I think you'll see that some of the guys here adds tremendous value to any organization and deserves a shot to make a camp. And that's all you can ask. And, I tell these guys all the time, listen, it doesn't matter if you go in the first round, second round, third round, fourth round. You just get your foot in the door, and then you find a way to stay. You get first rounders, you have an opportunity to stay maybe a year or two longer than anybody else, but you still have to go and show and prove. You got to go to work. You still have to be a professional, and they're ready for that.
Yeah, with today being pro day, obviously a big part in these players' journeys to be turned potentially into pro players. I'm curious, throughout this process, as someone who's done it themselves, what are some of the other things that maybe go into, being able to find a home at the pro level, whether that be at the NFL or, as you mentioned, those other leagues there, as the players kind of navigate this cycle?
Are you coachable? Do you follow directions well? That's the number one thing, and I purposely, create in my culture, hey, +2 beyond the line, hand on the line. You have to have your hand in the middle in a certain drill, and be able to follow directions and be coachable. So it's not foreign to them when they come into these situations. So I feel really good about, you know, what where they're at, where they have to go, and honestly, they can carry a lot of these same tools and the blueprint to any profession. So it just goes into your hard work, your work ethic. Are you coachable? Do you love football? And can you make plays? That's what it comes down to, have an opportunity to play at the next level.
And I'm sure it comes down to the individual on advice you might give, but you know, as you navigate this process and consider all options that might be available, say, you know, whether it be from the NFL or other leagues, what are maybe some of the things that you would take into consideration when determining what might be the best fit for a future move at the pro level?
From their perspective?
Yeah. I guess any advice you'd give to a player that might be considering, you know, maybe an NFL opportunity or an opportunity in another league.
Well, again, stay ready. If this is what you want, you got to be about the life, and you have to stay ready. You can't have indecision about it where when you leave here after today, it's about the next workout. You know, you can't afford to say, okay, I worked out, I had my pro day, and now I can go, you know, eat a bag of chips and eat Oreos and have poor habits. You got to stay with it. You got to stay mentally sharp, physically sharp, because they can call you up at any time. Now you're hoping that you get an interview or two from an organization, and then you'll see what happens on draft day. And once they call your name, you got to go in and you got to be ready to take somebody's job. And that's the mindset. You know, it's not about making friends. It's not about trying to live a lifestyle. If you're about it, you're about the work. And if you get that opportunity, you got to take full advantage of it.
Yeah, one last question on my end. We mentioned some of the players there earlier, but one that we're going to talk to a little bit later is Jyron Johnson. I'm curious your thoughts on him as a player. You know, with the tape, you know, puts together a really strong season, continuing the 9-win streak here with All-MAC first team selections at Bowling Green. Just maybe what you see and project for him in the future.
I think Jyron can play at the next level. I really believe that. I thought that last year, given the opportunities that he had with us, took full advantage of that, became all-conference tight end, and an offense that, you know, was sporadic, and a lot of that had to do with our identity at the time. But he was dependable. Had the longest streak, I think, in college football last year for games that he's had a pass reception. He catches the ball well in traffic, contested balls. He has good ball skills. He can block in line, but he's a matchup issue when it comes down to the red zone. And he can play special teams for you. He has the length and the ability and the experience to do just that. So you look at his numbers, I think he ran fairly well. Came in a little heavier than I thought, but he typically plays about 20 pounds lighter, and that's where you're going to see more of his explosion, more suddenness, more athleticism from him. But I think Jyron has an opportunity to play at the next level.
Coach, just one question. I know you got to leave soon. I listened to you at the National Football Foundation dinner, and you mentioned that Bowling Green's not for everybody, and you got specific criteria for your culture. So when a professional team picks up one of your guys outside of talent, what are they getting when they get at Bowling Green?
A guy that's prepared, you know, first in the building, last to leave, that mentality. One that's going to be attentive in the classroom when he gets in the building, hat off, sitting in the front, taking notes, seeking knowledge, seeking proper feedback, who's fundamentally sound in all areas, and just focusing on the basics. You're going to get a well-rounded individual. That's the goal for me, you know, is to make sure that when they walk into any setting that they're prepared. And you don't have to know everything, but just stay curious, stay open, but be a person that's going to add value, be an asset to any organization.